Well, as Mikey and I know, sharing the real-life stories of others can help people feel less like they are alone in whatever they are dealing with. And that is exactly the mission of the Reelabilities Film Festival. It's to promote awareness and appreciation of those living with disabilities. This morning, Catherine Spitz-Cohen and Genevieve Clay-Smith are here to talk about Pittsburgh's Reelabilities Festival, which is this week. Yay. Yeah, thank you for being here. And Catherine, tell us about this, because there's a lot of films, actually, and they all have a really important theme.
Exactly. So first of all, people should know that a film festival is nothing more than a series of films with a little extra excitement.
Because I've never been before, so thank you for telling me that. I've never been to one.
And seriously, people don't know what really a film festival is. It's a series of films. Mostly you will never have the chance to see them before this or after. Sometimes they might come up on Netflix or something down the road, but mostly these are independent films from around the world. Many different countries are represented in all film festivals, or most film festivals, certainly all the film festivals that we present at Film Pittsburgh. And Reelabilities films are award-winning films from all over the world, and we have short films, we have documentaries, we have narrative fiction films. So it's really, and then in addition, we have amazing guests like Genevieve Clay-Smith, who came all the way from Australia to be here. We are showing a retrospective of her work, short films, on opening night, and she will speak afterwards. And so again, to me, the idea is that Pittsburghers get the opportunity to come and open their minds and learn something and experience great film. There's a party every night after the film is presented, and the Q&A with the guests that we have, and it's a good time. So people should come.
And Genevieve, first off, I love your job, that you're a filmmaker.
I love her accent.
I love your accent too.
Why, thank you.
Tell us about one of the films. So it's on opening night, Shakespeare in Tokyo, I believe it's called. What is it about?
So Shakespeare in Tokyo is about a man with Down syndrome who goes on a solo adventure to discover Tokyo. But one of the really interesting aspects of the film is that it's an inclusive film, and that's something that I've been really working on in Australia, is creating inclusive films. And what that really means is that there's inclusion both in front of the camera but also behind. So I've been doing this workshops in Australia for the last 10 years, where we get people with disabilities to learn about filmmaking, and then we make the films together. So Shakespeare in Tokyo, we made it in Japan, but we also held a workshop for about 6 people, local people with Down syndrome, while we were there, and they helped to make the film with us on set.
That's
so the whole process is inclusive, and that's something that we're really passionate about back home in Australia.
Yeah, and you should be so proud of it too, because that's a wonderful accomplishment.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there are 2 films that you're actually premiering that you're very excited about. One of them we have a clip of that we want to show, and it's called Princess of the Row. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll talk about it, okay?
Don't you want a home? I got a home. Skid Row? It's not a home. Not for a 12-year-old girl.
You said her father was ill?
He suffered a traumatic brain injury while serving in Iraq. And he has episodes, bad ones.
Social services want to take you away from him. And nobody's looking out for your dad. He doesn't deserve that.
But I always thought of my life like...
Wow.
Oh, that looks good. Just from
it pulls you in just from the
it
trailer.
does.
It works.
I want more.
So there's that film, and there's also Bedlam, which is about mental health issues, correct? And tell us why those 2 films in particular. They're debuting here, but they're also really important, right?
Right. First and foremost, we would not be able to show these films without the help of the Staunton Farm Foundation, who is really spearheading issues of mental health, communication. We need to bring this issue out from the corner, the closet, and talk about issues of mental health. And both of these films do that. They're very different. One is a documentary, Bedlam. It's the history of mental health and the treatment of people with severe mental health diagnoses over the course of history up until today. And Princess of the Row is a fiction story, but it was made with such care, as you could see from the trailer. One of the filmmakers is coming, and he talked to me about the care with which they put into the making of the film to make sure that the father, who has a brain injury from his time in Iraq, that they were portraying his mental illness authentically. And I also want to say that in addition to the filmmaker, coming that night, Saturday night, to the screening is our own CNN hero, Jim Withers, who dressed as a homeless person. He's the father of street medicine.
Right.
And so the idea that Jim and the filmmaker are going to talk about this film, the homeless issue that we have, mental health issues, and treating homeless people with respect and dignity, because they're people just like we are.
I agree. And what I love about this is that the fact that it's not just the movie, but there's a conversation after the movie, so it keeps the dialogue going. So thank you so much, Catherine.
Yeah, thank you both for being here. It's really special that it's in Pittsburgh. The Reelabilities Pittsburgh Film Festival, it starts tomorrow, September 4th, and it runs through the 11th. It's at the Southside Works Cinema. There are 22 screenings taking place over the next week. 11 of them will feature the story of someone living with a disability. And we have more details on this, more information at pittsburghtodaylive.com.